Since 2014, Egypt has been working on implementing more than 462 housing, development, road, electricity, facility and services projects in Sinai and the Suez Canal cities worth billions of pounds. Achieved development projects aimed to use all available resources to promote investment attraction areas, which would in turn play an important role in the elimination of terrorism as an inevitable result of construction. The Egyptian government's plan to improve living conditions in Sinai include exploiting the labor force and providing employment opportunities, developing water resources, implementing comprehensive agricultural reclamation and fish farming, increasing housing and education projects, empowering Sinai women and raising cultural awareness, and enhancing comprehensive tourism development of Sinai, the most attractive regions of the world. Minister of Housing Asim Hegazy said that the projects in Sinai also include the Great Transfiguration on the Land of Peace project in St. Catherine's City. These projects aim to contribute to the development of Sinai by improving the quality of roads and services provided to citizens, developing villages and remote Bedouin communities, and reconstructing the Sinai Desert. The housing projects in this regard include more than 17,000 housing units at a cost of 3.7 billion Egyptian pounds. With regard to road projects, 129 projects are being implemented at a total cost of 8.5 billion pounds. This is in addition to the implementation of 32 projects within the framework of the Axis of Integrated Development for the People of Sinai, with investments of 720 million pounds. This aims to secure the infrastructure and facilities required for new industrial zones, connect facilities to existing communities and villages, and construct service buildings in a way that contributes to improving the quality of services provided to citizens.
Right, welcome back, and back to you, Dr. Hegazy. And we were supposed to continue what we were speaking about and the income of Sinai.
Sure. I'm going to actually continue what the report was trying to present to the audience. I want to go over the breakdown of the gross national product of these two governorates to know when there is employment, what are they, which areas, and to know also if we were to invest and bring foreign direct investment in this area, where should it be. If we look at northern Sinai, 65% of the GNP of North Sinai comes from oil exploration. And that's why I put the map, because the center part is where the minerals and oil exploration are, in addition to the western southern part, which belongs to the South Sinai Governorate. So 65% of the GNP of North Sinai comes from oil explorations, and 63% of the GNP of South Sinai comes from oil exploration as well. So obviously the main income generated is coming from oil explorations. South Sinai is blessed with tourism and antiquities, and so 22% of the GNP of South Sinai comes from tourism and antiquities. So if you add them together, they are almost 85% of the GNP, which leaves the rest is fractions. Although these two governorates are blessed with natural resources that should be actually capitalized on. And that's why the plan of the government under the citizenship plan for the North and South governorates of Sinai is well in place. Number one, the plan, as I said earlier, is to increase the number of inhabitants in northern Sinai as well as South Sinai by 3 million in the next 2 years. And that's why the government have already put the first stones to build 4 new communities or 4 new cities. One is called the New Ismailia city, and it is supposed to occupy 314,000 inhabitants. The second one is called Salam city, which is on the east of Port Said, and it is supposed to occupy 300,000 inhabitants as well. And then Medinat Rafah, the new Rafah city, which is actually they did it after the restorations. And it's supposed to bring 50,000 inhabitants as well. The last but not the least is Bir Sheba, the new ones, Bir Saba al-Jadida, and it was supposed to occupy another 400,000 inhabitants. So these are already in the plan. And so when you look at the plan set for these two governorates, and you look, first of all, there is 170 projects in North Sinai that are in the government strategic plan, versus 169 projects, and it just came by coincidence that the two numbers are almost equal. 170 projects in North Sinai and 169 in South Sinai. And how these projects are distributed. The housing and the slums developments in these two governorates occupy almost 40% of these 170 projects, followed by water supply and irrigation, because the government needs to set the infrastructure ready for investments by Egyptians. So that occupy almost 12% in North Sinai and 8% on South Sinai. Next, of course, tourism, and it's only for Southern Sinai. It occupies 10% of the project, and as well of the 720 billion pounds that the report was saying about investment injected by the government in these two governorates. And then you have higher education, which is again very important, like building universities. Occupy 6% in North Sinai and 12% of these total projects in South Sinai. So you have also the community developments, the local community developments, and I can see that the government already is encouraging Egyptians to own lands in Sinai, and they give every Egyptian the right to buy 5 feddans and a house in South Sinai to encourage them with, of course, facilities for payment of this deal here. So you can see that there is a plan.
Yes, indeed, there is a plan. The issue is that the plan aims to introduce huge sectors. And I mean here, we're speaking about agriculture,
Yes.
we're speaking about mining, we're speaking about industrial, tourism, as you said, respectively, education, all.
Yes.
A very integral plan to such a place, plus the Suez Canal area.
Yes.
And all the plans that are existing for it. Let me know more from you. How do you view such plans?
Well, I view the plans, first of all, you have to know, Mona, that these plans are part of Egypt 2030 vision. And so, again, it's very important to know that the government has plans, and the plans are more strategic plans. Second, the government is already away from debt servicing parts in the budget of the government, the fiscal budget. There are plans for development. And as we know, since the number of inhabitants in Sinai, especially the northern side, is not as it should be, so it's very clear that Egypt is putting focus on increasing the number of the population in the northern Sinai. So that tends to decrease the level of unemployment. It tends to bring foreign direct investment, obviously, because you have natural resources that are not fully utilized now. And that's why I give you the list of the minerals, which is just one side. But if you look at the fishery on the northern side, if you look at the agriculture, and that's why the map shows that this is a very ready area of the map of Sinai, especially the northern side, for agriculture and fishery. Get along the oil exploration in the center here. So I think my look at this whole thing is that Egypt is implementing plans, and it is allocating funds annually for reaching the 2030 goals, which is very important to know that this is not something that is built out of the moment. The plan was in 2020, so we are now 2022. So we are 2 years in the row, and if you follow on the website of the Ministry of Planning, you're going to see all the developments that I'm actually talking about now.
Yes, you've just gave me one to look at, which is the citizens' investments to North Sinai, and this is part of the investment map in Sinai.
Yes.
And part of the investment map is seeking to attract investments.
Yes.
We're speaking about local partners, we're speaking about foreign direct investments, international partners. How do you view the strategy of the state regarding our partners in implementing this strategy in Sinai?
Well, you have to know that this part is very critical when you talk about Sinai. Because
Yes, I know.
Because a lot of people actually say, okay, are you going to bring foreign direct investment in a very deep part of Egypt, which is Sinai, this part that we liberated by force and by negotiations? Excuse me. So that's why the issue of foreign direct investment is important, but how the implementation side of it.
Indeed.
This is very important as well.
This is why I said partners. I'm not saying that.
Exactly. So that's why you need to borrow the technology needed. Okay. Egypt now is relying on renewable energy, even in Sinai, because if you want to develop, then you have to make ready the infrastructure for such developments. And I think you have now more than 5 tunnels that are linking Sinai with mainland of Egypt. So this is again very important part. They have built over 300,000 kilometers of paved roads and highways in Sinai. So this is all done by Egyptian companies, whether it is the army or subcontracted by private constructing company. But at the end, technology still is the motto of good investments. And that's the need to bring it and to attract it from outside.
We can speak hours and hours about Sinai and what is happening there and what we need furthermore in this area, but my time is out and I have to end it here.
Good times just finished.
Thank you so much, Dr. Ibrahim Hegazy, Professor of Marketing at the AUC. Thank you so much for being with us tonight.
Thank you, Mona, for inviting me.
Thank you, the pleasure.
Let me just end by saying congratulations and best wishes for our dear Copts for a happy Easter. And at the same time, hopefully, Laylat al-Qadr might be tonight as well. So we pray and we take it that God save Egypt and God save Egyptians.
Indeed. Indeed. God save Egypt and long live Egypt.
Yes.
Dr. Ibrahim Hegazy, thank you so much for being with us tonight. And I guess that takes us to the end of this episode. Tomorrow would be another episode with another colleague. Until tomorrow, it's good night.